well, here's where he starts to talk about Russia. Is this C or D? Which one? Okay, so there's two parts here. As you know, Cliff, there has been some arguably provocative moves by the Russians. There was a Russian boat that seems to be off the coast of the
It's
United
not far
States.
from you guys. Have
No,
you seen it?
it was up in Groton. I can almost see it from my porch.
Very good show,
but-
majority report.
And
Just keep it away from that Statue
They've
of Liberty.
also-
It may be how it happens.
there's been reports that they have broken or continued to be in violation of some missile treaties, whatnot. I mean, stuff that I imagine is not just unique to Russia in terms of testing, like what can we get away with this new president? And here is Trump addressing this and conflating the idea of we're going to have a new foreign policy in regards to Russia with, for some reason, there's a lot of intrigue involving my staffers around this.
Yes. Mr. President, you mentioned Russia. Let's talk about some serious issues that have come up in the last week that you have had to deal with as President of the United States.
Okay.
You mentioned the spy vessel off the coast of the United States.
Not good.
There was a ballistic missile test that many interpret as
Not
a
good.
violation of
Not
the agreement
good.
between the two countries, and a Russian plane buzzed a U.S. destroyer.
Not good.
I listened to you
Excuse me.
during the
Excuse me.
campaign.
When did it happen? It happened when, if you were Putin right now, you would say, hey, we're back to the old games with the United States. There's no way Trump can ever do a deal with us because the public, you have to understand, if I was just brutal on Russia right now, just brutal, people would say, you would say, oh, isn't that wonderful? But I know you well enough. Then you would say, oh, he was too tough. He shouldn't have done that. Look,
I'm just
all
trying to
of the
find out
things,
your
wait a minute,
orientation
wait,
to
wait,
those.
excuse me just
I'm
one
just trying to
second.
find out what
All
you're
of
gonna do
those
about it, Mr.
things that you
President.
mentioned are very recent because probably Putin assumes that he's not going to be able to make a deal with me because it's politically not popular for me to make a deal. So Hillary Clinton tries a reset. It failed. They all tried. But I'm different than those people. Go ahead.
How are you interpreting those moves, and what do you intend to do about them? Have
Just
you
the way
given
I said
Rex
it.
Tillerson any advice or counsel
I
on
have.
how to deal?
I have, and I'm so beautifully represented. I'm so honored that the Senate approved him. He's going to be fantastic. Yes, I think that I've
Is
already...
Putin testing you, do you believe, sir?
No, I don't think so. I think Putin probably assumes that he can't make a deal with me anymore because politically it would be unpopular for a politician to make a deal. I can't believe I'm saying I'm a politician, but I guess that's what I am now. Because, look, it'd be much easier for me to be tough on Russia, but then we're not going to make a deal.
Cogent.
So
There's
there
too
it
much
is.
laughing going on in your studio. People are having way too much fun.
I
No,
mean-
Michael, I think, is going to have a nervous breakdown.
I think
at
it is.
some
Best
point
thing I've
really
ever
soon.
seen.
This is
This is
Michael. This is
incredible.
like how Michael is dealing with his anxiety. I think, like where Donald Trump goes, look, all right, I just launched the nukes. Okay, and I had to because of the question I got from CNN.
You know what? By the way,
which
if
made
Jim
me-
Acosta
made me
wasn't
look
so
like,
rude, then maybe I would have nuked
because that
Kiev.
puts me in a bad
Because that
position
makes me-
where I got to feel like I should just nuke them just to get the people stop getting on my
And
back.
then you'll do the report like, ooh, Donald Trump shouldn't have nuked them.
let the nukes go. All right, but
Now-
wait a second.
Maybe
but
he's
wait
a
a
Can I
second.
ask you a
politician
question
now?
quickly?
Can we
Yeah.
just
That
get...
poll the other day, Sam, they referred to the 39%. I'm trying to remember. That was Pew, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right? So, okay, I want to make sure it's a different, because Gallup just released one that I just see that Joy Reid tweeted out, and it's almost exactly the same, which has Trump at 38% approval, 56 disapproval. So I
Fake
just bring it up
polls.
because looking at any one poll, as we know, sometimes it can be wrong. We've now got two that say basically exactly the same thing.
Well-
So in any case, go ahead.
All right, so Trump is talking that he thinks the reason why the Russians have been so testing of him is because of the criticism he's gotten in terms of Russia. I mean, God knows what the relationship is between Donald Trump and Russia, and whether he's correct or whether, I mean, who knows? But what is comforting, Cliff, is that Donald Trump understands the implications of this type of potential conflict between the two great nuclear powers in the world. Because remember, Russia still has, literally like 1,000 plus 1,500. I mean,
That's right.
nukes. And so Donald Trump understands
In a way that the rest of us do not.
Well, let's hear it from him.
Let's hear how
Russia and the United States actually got together and got along. And don't forget, we're a very powerful nuclear country, and so are they. There's no upside. We're a very powerful nuclear country, and so are they. I've been briefed, and I can tell you one thing about a briefing that we're allowed to say because anybody that ever read the most basic book can say it.
Isn't that me?
Nuclear holocaust would be like no other. They're a very powerful nuclear country, and so are we. If we have a good relationship with Russia, believe me, that's a good thing, not a bad
So
thing.
when you say they're not good,
Okay, so there you have it, folks. Just in case you were wondering, and a lot of debate about the different types of Holocaust that you could
If you're
have.
ranking your holocausts at home, nuclear is
The
worse.
nuclear Holocaust will be worse than, I guess, the non-nuclear Holocaust.
Hands down.
If you only have a Holocaust that's sort of based on, let's say, that Mayan 2012 prediction, it would be a much more pleasant Holocaust for you. Just saying, as Holocausts go. It's good to know these things. And the other thing about Trump, they've been good old friend Duncan Black, who tweeted something out about, that George W. Bush had this thing too, where he would, when he learned something, he thought that he just learned something that nobody else knew.
Right.
There was a little bit of that to George W. Bush, but Trump, that exists like nobody else I've ever seen.
I just heard from a briefing that a nuclear Holocaust is the worst kind of
it's
Holocaust.
like total devastation, to quote my CIA briefer.
He just learned it in a
And I can
briefing.
say this, I
Clearly,
can say this.
He didn't ever know this.
Because
so
it's
it must be
written in
something the rest of
public
us don't
books.
know.
Yeah, that's not classified. You
It's
could
written
find
in public
that.
books.
Can I ask
nuclear Holocaust?
Nuclear
Horrible.
weapons blow shit up. It's
Can I
not
ask a really
classified.
quick question though? Isn't this similar? Like, didn't Reagan, his hawkishness was balanced by the fact that he had seen some like end of the world movies, and he actually did want to do something about arms control. So when you hear this, I mean, it's crazy, but it's like I prefer when his crazy ramblings are towards I want to do arms deals with Russia versus I want to do something, I want to attack
I would
somebody.
agree with that. It's much better than,
So I wonder where he
Russia.
got this
Absolutely.
idea from. Maybe, because I remember he said that in a debate a year and a half ago. They asked him about the triad, and he's like, well, you got nuclear.
You got three things.
And that's
Try.
big. And then he panted for a while, but he did convey that he understood it wasn't good.
Right. It's bad. Look,
Blowing shit up. But he saw the Terminator once. and
there's
that
3
scene
types
where-
of
Maybe that's what it
Holocausts.
That scene where Linda Hamilton's hanging out at the playground and everybody just gets smoked.
Look, the
was it.
triad is this. There's 3 types of Holocausts. There's the fake
That's right.
Holocaust,
I mean, look,
Which is
the fake
one-
Holocaust,
to
which
answer
was
Michael's
blown
question,
up
of course,
and
that's
made into
much
a
better in
bigger
that
deal than
direction.
it really was.
There was the one in Germany, which we all know is fake.
fake.
Okay,
That's
the whole
the
thing's
fake one.
ridiculous.
The
all
fake
right?
one.
Yeah,
There's
my friend,
the
what's his
really
name?
bad
Richard
ones.
Spencer was telling me that one never happened.
the bad ones, and then the nuclear Holocaust, which is like no other.
I mean, it's just like no other. Because first of all,
It's
it's
real.
So there you go. But we can still talk about the fact that having somebody who either is so disconnected from reality, so ignorant, or both, who I don't know what the answer to that is, who when they learn something that they should know is plainly obvious to anybody who's got 2 brain cells to rub together, they think they've learned something new. It's a bit scary, a bit worrisome. Sure, better than he is wanting to, nuke Russia to bring about end times, but that you have to trust this guy to sit in a room and negotiate stuff coming from that thought process.
Look, people think I didn't know that Russia had nukes. Why do you think I took 12% of Rosneft? You think I didn't know that?
People act like I don't know how things work. By the way, what do you think just happened over the last week? Pence and Flynn both got effed out of their shares
Absolutely.
of Rosneft. And people act like I don't know what I'm doing, and then I'm a bad
I've
guy,
only been
which I
president
hate.
for 3.5 weeks, and I've already made an extra $2 billion.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Sam Seder. Why don't you subscribe to this channel? You can do so right over here. Over. Subscribe.